I have barely slept in a week and a half. I'm insane right now. So
Beth has an excuse. Shawnee is just like this.
Without the man you're going back. We're gonna take on humanity. Just up, X-Men, we put it in time. Just up, mutants, systems and final death. Now we're X-Men.
hello, flat scans, and welcome to the X-Men. We are the next stage in human evolution. Two trans women exploring the X-Men. My name is Beth.
And my name is Shawnee.
And today, I'm back. I'm back from Tasmania. But we still haven't put out the episode that we filmed beforehand, so you won't even notice me gone. I did miss Shawnee, though. I miss Shawnee a lot.
I miss Beth too. Luckily, I got to be well informed of all her adventures because you were playing at Hobofopo.
Hobofopo.
Tell us about it.
Well, it was huge. It was a great couple shows for me. The weekend before, I went to see my friends Beck and Bridge get married. Absolutely beautiful wedding. I cried the whole time. But then I had also been invited to play Hobofopo the weekend after. I've just flown back today. So you're getting Beth hot off the plane. I've unpacked my bag. I've washed my hair. And I'm in my pajamas. Once again, 2 pajama episodes in a row. Because you're getting unfiltered, unslept Beth after a weekend of a massive folk punk festival at which I played 2 sets. And I played on Saturday night. I did a cover set of songs from Transgender Dysphoria Blues by Against Me. And on Sunday, I played a set of originals. And I sold all the merch I brought down to Tasmania. It was fantastic.
Yes. And where did you play your Beth set?
My Beth set, I played in a bus. Like, it was at a venue called Preachers. They have this bus at the back, which is like seating, because the weather was so bad. It was quite rainy. So we moved all the gear into the bus and I kind of sat hanging out. This was Shawnee's idea because I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be so, because I was texting her going, I feel like I'm going to be so far from the crowd inside this bus and they're all outside. And Shawnee goes, why don't you just sit out the window? It'll be cute. So there's Beth with her gams hanging out the window, playing some songs. And you know what? It was really cute. So thanks to my girl for that. She really saved the day.
Mwah. You know, I always got your back.
Craziest thing of all, the Against Me cover set, Laura Jane Grace not retweeted, what's the Instagram one? Story shared me. And then followed me. I feel like it would be cringy to post on my Instagram of how excited I was that she followed me because I wanted to think I'm cool. But, you know, this is really one of those I'm waiting for Senpai to notice me kind of moments. And is that a meme people still use? I don't know. I'm showing my age.
We're bringing it back.
But I don't think she's going to watch our X-Men podcast. But you know what, Laura, if you're out there, thank you for following me. I'm a really big fan. And I feel very seen.
Oh, huge. Can't believe that happened to you. Can't believe you're great. Of course she's going to do it.
Yeah, oh my God. You got anything to tell me, Shawnee? Anything exciting?
Not to compare the excitement of weekends, I know you did have 2 gigs, one of which Laura Jane Grace noticed you and followed you. But I went to a little place called Witches in Britches.
I have never been, and I've driven past it so many times. It always looked like if Dracula's was like a Diet Coke, Witches in Britches was like an LA Ice.
That's what it is. Yes, that's what it is.
And how was the show?
Look, for those that don't know, Witches in Britches and Dracula, for that matter, is like this building you go to. It's all like very spooky themed. There's like turrets and like witchy stuff all over it. And it's like a dinner theater thing. So
like cabaret dinner theater.
It's like a cabaret and like proper dinner theater. Like I sat down and there was a soup entree. I can't remember the last time that happened, but they put on this like live show while you're having dinner and having some drinks. So the framework was How I Met Your Mother.
Now that is scary.
It was when they announced it, I was like, oh, no one told me it would actually be scary. And there was lots of improv and lots of audience participation, which was another scary factor. But it was very funny. And they were all very good singers. So claps to them for putting on a great show.
I never want to be audience participated. Just the notion of that would make me leave.
Oh, and then about halfway through, I had to go move my car. And I went to go back in and the doors were locked. And it was down rain, and I was like out the front, like knocking on these double doors with the old-timey door knocker like it was Rocky Horror, and it was about 10 minutes until someone came and let me back in.
Oh my God. They can't have people walking in off the street trying to get some free dinner theater. I forgot one more thing about my Tasmania trip.
Please.
I got a tattoo.
Oh, yeah, you did, and one that's relevant to the pod.
I'm not going to take my jammies off and show you on the camera now, but we can get it on screen now. It is the Star brand. If you have ever read the Marvel New Universe from 1986, which nobody has, but Jonathan Hickman did use this in his run on Avengers. The Star brand is like a tattoo that comes down from space and goes on you and gives you all the power in the universe. So there was a white event, that's what it's called, and it came down and gave me all the power in the universe. And it's right between my shoulder blades, and it just looks like a hot girl tattoo that when people see it, they'll be like, oh, that's a hot girl tattoo, unless they know about comics, and they'll be like, oh, that's a hot comic girl tattoo. Very quick fit check. I'm in my pajamas. What are you wearing, Shawnee?
You know what I always say? I say you got to support your local girl gang.
Hey, yeah, baby.
Yes.
Are we the gang?
We're the gang. We're our local girl gang.
Except we live 2 hours from each other. That's why we do this on video.
But mentally, we're local.
Always. Were you saying something about the back of the shirt?
Oh, no, I was simply saying that the back of the shirt is even cooler, but I don't think I can show it on YouTube because we may get...
demonetized?
There's boobs on it, so we can't show it.
We're not monetized.
Tasteful. Very tasteful.
If it's art.
All right, here's a photo of it.
We're now demonetized. Okay. I think we need to talk about some issues of X-Men. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
We're starting off today with X-Men 106. Unfortunately, this is a filler issue. Shawnee, do you know about filler issues?
I can surmise what they are, but I would like you to tell me all about them.
Filler issues, sometimes in comics, you miss a deadline. So, you know, we see it in anime with Dragon Ball Z and other shows. That's really I'm not big into anime, but I love Dragon Ball Z, where Piccolo and Goku have got to get driver's licenses. Shawnee reminded me about this before. And it's not in the comic, but they've had to fill the time with something.
It's just a fun little adventure.
That's it. And Marvel would commission comics to be written if the writers actually were going to miss a deadline, that they just reach into the drawer, pull it out, and being like, that's your X-Men for the month.
And when they reached into that drawer, did they just pick up issue 100 of X-Men?
There are some real plot similarities that we are going to see very, very soon. Because I have some questions about the timelining of this issue that make the X-Men's actions in issue 100 look very, very silly. There's one main writer through the 70s, Bill Mantlo, who is known as the fill-in king. And basically anytime somebody was going to miss a deadline, they were like, hey, Bill, get us an X-Men. And he's like, yeah, all right. And that's what we have here, with a little bookend from Chris Claremont. And you can tell exactly where his parts start and end.
Yeah, now that I know that, it's very apparent.
I feel like that explanation was a bit of a mess, but I'm in silly mode, Shawnee.
We're both in silly mode. Let's embrace it.
Luckily, there's going to be a very serious issue that we're going to read right now. In X-Men 106, the Angel is back, and he's come to murder the new X-Men with their own leader's deadly eye blasts. That's exactly 2 panels of this comic, but don't worry about it. This is a fill-in issue written by the fill-in king, Bill Mantlo. And the issue opens on Professor Xavier, right where we left him at the end of issue 105. The X-Men have departed through the Stargate, and he experiences another blast of psychic anguish as he had experienced in his ongoing connection with Princess Lilandra. As Misty Knight supports Chuck, he slips into a dreamlike state. The professor believes that Misty is Moira McTaggart, and his mind begins to take him back in time. Back to the mansion, where as Xavier lay in bed many months ago, Moira nursed him back to health and muses that it hurts her to see him in pain as there is part of her that still loves him. Now, their relationship has been implied so far. Is this the first time it's really being explicitly stated, do you think?
This is the first time it's getting, like, locked in.
Yeah, go on then. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, every time we get one of these things, I now have to remind myself that it wasn't one of the key writers who decided to solidify this.
Our scene shifts to the Danger Room, where Colossus saves Wolverine from a falling steel girder. However, Wolverine does not like being saved. As we know, he likes getting mad. And so, as he pops his claws to find out if they can cut steel skin, the boss man Slim enters and shuts the training session down. Scott has had it with Logan's mad killer act, and Logan assures him that it is no act and dares him to keep pushing. He is sick of this Cyclops telling the new X-Men team to be more like the old X-Men. Banshee actually agrees with what Logan's saying here and tells Scott it's time for him to accept the new X-Men as they are. Older, loners, set in their ways. But this conversation dies off as former X-Man Angel appears in the Danger Room. As he taunts Scott for leading a team of real-life creature features, the original X-Men all appear in the Danger Room and do battle with the new team. No matter how hard the new team hit them, the OGs keep getting back up. It's during this battle that Angel does in fact use Cyclops' eye beams against Colossus. However, it is over in less than a page. Great cover copy. The battle rages on until a wild and erratic Xavier drags himself across the floor into the Danger Room. He reveals that actually he's responsible for the battle, or rather, the dark side of his personality.
Oh, it's not his fault.
An evil Xavier appears complete with cape and pointed eyebrows.
Yeah, that's how you know he's evil.
He opens up the very ground beneath the X-Men in the Danger Room and nearly sends Wolverine tumbling into the pits of hell. But is it real or illusion? Xavier defeats the entity by turning his own projections of the former X-Men against him. And as the issue ends, Xavier wonders whether he can keep that dark side of his personality in check forever. The very next panel tells us that Xavier is at peace, and he is no longer worried about the dark side of his personality. Forget about it. Next issue, X-Men in space.
I like that Claremont just picked up that last note from Bill and went, and nope, we'll never hear about that again.
They could have easily cut that panel instead of contradicting it in the very next one. But you know what? That's a flex by our boy Chris. He's trying to remind everyone who writes the X-Men. I can't imagine he would have been too happy about a fill-in issue.
He clearly spent a long time building up the next two issues, as we'll find out.
Oh, yeah, they're huge. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No. Let's talk about the important stuff now.
Let's talk about this very important issue by getting straight into the ups.
Everybody get up, sing it.
Is this a 5 song?
Yeah. But you can't sing the next line. The next line is for when we get to the downs.
You know what? I'm going off real vague memories of 5 every time we do one of these. So is that one of the songs we've already sung, or is it a separate third one?
Beth, I found out there are 3 songs with an emphasis on the word down. So we are stocked up.
Oh my God.
They love getting down.
How has this become the Five Eye fan podcast? I don't have a lot, but the main thing I like is Wolverine being aggressive. Bill Mantlo is clearly having fun writing Logan, And he's got a handle on that character. And as I'll get to later, he doesn't understand everything about all these characters. But I like Wolverine calling Colossus Petey Pureheart and asked him if he's bucking for a medal. I like that he tells Scott that being a mad killer is not an act for him. And I like that he says that Cyclops needs to stop writing them all since Thunderbird died. Justice for Thunderbird. We have completely forgotten about him. I really, actually, one side note, I really do think for most of this issue, they have a handle on Logan's personality, but then he acts really offended when Iceman calls him a psycho. Like 3 pages earlier being like, yeah, I'm a mad killer, Slim. I'm gonna gut my teammate.
He's like,
but I'm not a psycho.
Psycho? Moi?
And who cares what Bobby thinks?
Who cares what Bobby thinks? I've got no attachment to Bobby.
But fair play, not the real Iceman. Have you got an up for me?
Yeah, I got an up for you, Beth. It's called The Death of Thunderbird. I'm just kidding. That's a callback for listeners. I need one of those little asterisks that the writers put in when they're calling back to a previous issue.
Yeah, it's like Marvelous Marv down in the corner.
Yeah. Thanks, Marv. But seriously, we had to move on from Thunderbird's death so quickly in the previous issues, but I found it such a compelling thing for Scott to have to deal with. Like, it's the first time that he's lost a team member. And it was my first introduction to like the sort of struggles that Scott goes through as the leader of the new X-Men. And we get just like a tiny little bit of revisiting that here. We got a bit of friction because Scott's dealing with his guilt and he's riding the team, and Logan's grumpy because he keeps comparing him to the old lineup. And we get a vulnerable moment where Scott like puts his hand on Wolverine's shoulder and actually does apologize to him. It's all cut very short because once the actual meat kicks in, it's never mentioned again. But it's just a nice little moment that I'm glad that we revisited.
Yeah, I feel like there hasn't been a dull moment for the X-Men, really. Like, we haven't had a chance to think about Thunderbird, but it's just sad to think, you know, their first mission ended in tragedy, but we're on to many, many more tragedies, and many more X-Men are going to die, to the point where there's going to be a graveyard on the grounds of the Xavier Institute. Barely an up. I like Sean's face when he's telling Scott that the new X-Men are a bit rough around the edges and the new team is all he's got. There's not a lot of ups, but it's just like, he's just got a little sly expression on his face. I like it.
Oh, Sean's so good. I like him.
He's one of my fave characters in this run, I think, especially this time around. I've really grown attached to him.
Yeah, same. And look, he had to work a little hard to get me purely because I will just come out and say it. I hate the man's hair. Something about that 70s hairstyle has just always rubbed me the wrong way. I can't even tell you what it is. That's why when he was soggy floppy hair, I was like, now we're talking. But it's a testament to him that he's won me over despite his haircut.
You're just turning on Grease and being like, a movie made in the 70s but set in the 50s. Great reference, Beth.
Of course.
This is where I did the Bridges Brothers. Okay. So let me just change the subject to another up. There's not a lot of ups. They're mostly very silly things I have to say. But this is an up purely because I laughed so hard at it. Is Scott completely roasting the real Warren Angel when he's fighting the fake Warren, because he says to himself, the real human Warren Worthington would have been out in an instant and out for hours. And it's my bet that whoever you are, fella, you're not him. So, thanks, Scott. Thanks for roasting one of your oldest friends to prove that this is an imposter.
Wait, the real Warren's a loser. You're not the real Warren at all.
He's a total wimp, and that's why he's not on the team anymore. He's off on the Champions with Hercules.
That's where he is right now?
Yeah, Iceman 2, I think. Not a comic that sold well. But, there's like I like Marvel's Hercules, mainly because of Incredible Hercules by Greg Pak and Fred Van Lent. That's one of my favorite comics ever.
Wow.
But we don't have time to get into all of that. I'm out of ups. Have you got any more?
I got one more up. And
Let's do it.
It's my favorite up in a long time because while Storm is getting attacked by the fake Jean Grey, she muses that just last week she helped Jean and Misty Knight decorate their new apartment. And the mental imagery of these three babes having a fun, girly weekend together decorating their apartment just makes me so happy. And ask the question, why was this situation not the entire issue?
Don't you think that's so nice and sweet for Storm? Because she's just never had a normal life ever. You know, she's living naked on a mountaintop. She's pickpocketing people in Cairo. Like, Jean and Storm are just become friends somewhere off panel, and they talk about being friends. It's a testament to the writing of the scenes back in 100, where, you know, it's this tearful farewell between Storm and Jean. But, you know, we don't really see them becoming friends. So I think making little references to that sort of stuff is good. There's good things about this fill-in issue.
Girl, this will all come into play in my biggest up of the last issue. Just putting that out there.
I'm so excited. Those two issues are really good, and we're just going to roast this filler issue.
We are, because you know what? It is time to get down.
Are you going to sing the line?
5 will make you get down now. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I do remember that song.
You remember it.
This opening few pages with Firelord, very silly. We hate Firelord on the podcast. He's there. He's screaming at Professor Xavier, you know, as he does. And then when Chuck starts having, you know, his mental anguish, he asks, "The human cried out, is he in pain?" As if you care, dude.
As if he hasn't just been kicking their ass for the last issue.
Like, bro, why do you care? You were trying to wipe them out. They're trying to kill all humans.
This is exactly what Misty Knight says. And I'm like, yeah, I'm with you, girl. I've only got one down for this issue.
Oh my God. I'm going to hide the iPad. I've got so many.
Well, it's because, like, I spent a long time on the other issues. But this down is basically the whole premise of this issue. Because we're currently building to the climax of the first big, like, story arc that we've experienced with Shikari, aka Eric the Red, and Lilandra. I'm so eager to see where this is all heading. And this issue brings all that momentum to a screeching halt by saying, hey guys, I know we're all excited to see what happens with the main story. And I know we just fought some X-Men doppelgangers of the old team 5 issues ago, but hear me out. What if this whole issue was one long fight scene against some X-Men doppelgangers of the old team?
There must have been another side story, like another fill-in script they could have pulled out.
What was the other story that they were like, oh, okay, doppelgangers again it is?
Yeah, oh my God, we could have got more Kierok, and instead we got this.
Do not tell me for a second, if there was a follow-up Kierok comic, I'm coming for those, whoever was in charge at the time.
I'm speculating. That's not true.
No, just even the hypothetical gets me mad. Beth, how long did audiences have to wait in between comic issues back in this time?
X-Men was published bi-monthly here. So every 2 months. So between issue 105 and 107, with this in the middle, there's 4 months between that story being fulfilled.
Can you imagine getting into the end of the last issue and this comes out?
I think something that to be kept in mind about the way comics were consumed back then is comic book shops didn't exist yet, really. Like, there were the fans who went and bought them from the newsstands regularly, but most people were going, like kids with their pocket money, going to the news agency or wherever and picking up a random issue. And so a lot of people weren't really reading X-Men in order, and unless they were a fan of X-Men. X-Men's success kind of has a big part in changing that and these multi-part stories and the amount of X-Men spin-offs that occur. It's not the only thing, like comics did experience a boom heading into the 80s, but I think a lot of people would have read this issue and that wouldn't have been on the radar for them. But if you were one of the people who was like a diehard fan and you were desperate like this, because the same people, if you ever read like the old letters pages in the back of some of these issues, you see the same people pop up multiple times. And some of them, I bet steam would have been coming out their ears.
All right, you got another down for me?
I got loads. Let's go. Rapid fire Beth thoughts, and I'm unhinged tonight, so let's do it. This issue seemingly takes place just before the end of the Sentinel storyline, so they haven't faced the doppelganger X-Men yet. However, this means they're going to face doppelganger X-Men a few days after this, yet they still believe the X-Men that they meet on the spaceship are the real X-Men. Even though that they have faced doppelganger X-Men a few days before. Now, when that story was written, this issue wasn't there. It wasn't out. But now it makes the context of that issue look really silly. Don't you think they would assume, oh, Chuck's off his rocker again?
Here in space, it's evil Charles Xavier's subconscious again.
Absolutely. Like, surely there were more fill-in issues written. Maybe there weren't. Maybe there were. But... terrible pick if there was more. The fake X-Men are much less fun than the first time around. Not as many quips. Things just happen. We see Angel do the bulk of the battling for some reason. I already joked about the cover during the synopsis, but this is such a nothing issue that they picked this one really minor event of Angel pulling up Scott's visor that's over in a few panels to be the cover art. I guess they already did the X-Men versus X-Men cover, but that issue was much better.
It's like back in the day when you were watching free-to-air TV and there was an episode of something and in the ads, they were always like teasing that moment, like, oh, it's going to be a huge thing. And then you watch the episode and it's something that happens in the first 5 minutes and it's over and done with.
Oh, I remember when they were teasing like the last issue of the OC, which is really like more of a fun, lighthearted season. Channel 10 was like, one of these characters will smoke marijuana. And when we got to the episode, it was Seth, and it was like a 3-second joke scene.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, Channel 10.
Thanks. Yeah, his dad roasts him in a lighthearted way later on.
I know. Like, the whole show keeps referencing how Sandy Cohen could make a bong from an apple. Of course he's not going to be mad at his son.
Oh, I love Sandy Cohen. We don't have time to get into the OC podcast now, but damn.
Fran and I were already ranking how hot everyone from the OC was on the flight home. So don't let me get into all that. But back to the X-Men. Our boy Bill does not know how Scott's powers work. Colossus says the beams are beginning to burn through his armored body. Everybody knows that Cyclops' eye beams do not generate heat, they generate force. And do you know why we know that? Because it gets said a million times. And
you're acting as if the punch dimension doesn't even exist with this comment.
They are possibly portals to the punch dimension. Not enough Kurt. That's a down every time.
Yeah, hey, that's true.
I couldn't even tell you what he did in this issue or who he fought.
This is literally me trying to think of a single moment that he says. I'm sure he says or does. He is fighting Beast and Beast
Again.
says like, oh, I thought Spider-Man had the copyright on wall climbing. And Nightcrawler's like, I don't know who that is.
Side note, there is an issue where Nightcrawler meets Spider-Man, and this issue is set before that.
Well, that's nice.
You know,
I think they would have a lot in common, actually. Nightcrawler has sort of defaulted to the little quippy one of the group.
There is a comic from, like, right at the end of Krakoa where Nightcrawler was a Spider-Man kind of stand-in for, like, 5 issues called Uncanny Spider-Man. It's fun. I like it. The reveal of this being the dark side of Chuck's personality and this stupid Dracula-ass drawing of him, I hate it. It stinks, and I don't like it. They could have made Evil Xavier look way cooler. This is not going to matter for a very, very long time. Until eventually we get some Evil Xavier stuff in the 90s, and it's one of the worst crossovers of all time. It's worth noting, the nature of this as a fill-in issue, Marvel would hire writers, usually Bill Mantlo, to fill in case the creative team is going to miss their deadline. And so this issue has probably been sitting in the tank for a while, but these opening and closing parts by Claremont are something that I just think there's just such a whiplash of like this drama of Claremont at the start and the slap in the face at the end that story is not going to be important. Don't worry about it. And that's why the story doesn't seem to go with anything. But, you know, this is going to be like how if the X-Men podcast misses a week, we'll be dropping the outtakes episode. So
yeah, which will become our most popular episode. So who knows?
If you think the stuff we leave in is unhinged,
you have no idea.
X's, let's go.
All right, so poor Scotty. Poor Slim Summers. He's just had a moment of vulnerability, apologizing to the team because he's grieving Thunderbird and taking it out on them. And suddenly, Angel appears out of nowhere, starts dunking on him. And if this wasn't bad enough, it's immediately followed by Scott getting wedgied out of frame by Beast in front of all his friends.
This is real, like, schoolyard bully X-Men.
It is.
Oh, poor baby. This issue reveals that Moira was called to the mansion to help Charles with his nightmares. But if you remember, he actually called her right before he was about to go on holiday, and he was going to leave her with the X-Men while he went away. So this doesn't hold water at all.
This had to happen the night she arrived, or not at all.
Maybe this was all a dream.
Us giving them excuses.
I wish I dreamt this issue. Instead, I read it in the bathtub on holiday when I was meant to be relaxing. And you know what? I didn't drop my iPad in. Personal growth.
Well done.
Fastball specials.
Yeah.
The first Fastball special appeared in X-Men 100 during the Sentinel fight. However, in this issue, Colossus pulls the move by throwing Nightcrawler at Beast. So if this story takes place first, that means canonically the first Fastball special from this team occurred during this battle, and it was Nightcrawler being thrown instead of Wolverine.
Wow. Oh my God. Game changer.
Yeah.
Was Wolverine watching this? He's going to be so offended.
He's like, me and Petey Pureheart, we've been working on that move in the Danger Room, and he's cheating on me with that little German trollop.
I mean...
That little slinky, saucy minx.
That handsome, stupid little sexy guy.
God, we are getting so silly. Have you got another X?
Yes, I have one more X. Beth, I know that evil Charles Xavier was in your downs, but I just couldn't help it. He slithered his way into my X's because it's so kooky. But I love the concept that there's an evil phantom of Charles Xavier's unconscious, and he looks like this. That's what his brain cooked up.
We're giving Chuck too much credit for being like some kind of genius, aren't we? It's like he saw some Hammer horror movies, and that's...
Yes! I like to think of my own version of this, you know, like if one of my housemates were to tell me off for like leaving a mess in the kitchen and not cleaning it up, I'd be like, it wasn't me. It was the evil Shawnee who would use her powers for personal gain and conquest. And then we see like another Shawnee just about to run out the door, and she looks exactly like me but with a big cape and an evil face, and she's like, "That's right, you fools," and I'd do it again.
I feel like mine would be like Princess Peach and Bowsette.
Oh my God.
So we have this second last panel, and Charles is wondering if he's going mad and if he's going to slay the ones he loves the most as a result of his madness. And then the last panel says, Don't worry about it. But this is saying that that was a result of the forced telepathic rapport between him and Lilandra is what made that surface. So now that he's relived this nightmare, his own evil Xavier has been laid to rest. Claremont's trying to, like, tie this back into his own story, and he's doing an awful job of it.
He is yes-anding this to oblivion. Yes, and what about none of that?
Let's talk about some good issues.
Let's do it.
Well, now that we've roasted Bill Mantlo to death, you know what? He was doing his job. Go off, King. Have fun. In X-Men 107, the incredible saga of the Starjammers begins, but will it be the end of the X-Men? Our issue opens with Wolverine asking, "Where the blazes are we?" A moment ago they were on Earth, but now they find themselves in a world as old as time, with cities that have stood silent and empty since before mankind was born. Our heroes find themselves facing down an army of costumed alien beings, known as the Imperial Guard. Cyclops informs the Guard that the X-Men have come for Lilandra and Eric the Red, but the Guard's leader, Gladiator, will not allow it. The princess is a traitor to the Empire, and they will not give her up. A battle ensues. As the X-Men find themselves evenly matched by the Guard, Lilandra's evil brother, Deken, Emperor of the Shi'ar, has summoned the beast known as the Soul Drinker that will deliver her a fate worse than death. Cyclops, spotting what's happening, begs Jean to help, but she is still too weak from opening the Stargate 2 issues ago.
Oh.
It was a long time ago because we had to have that very important filler issue. It's up to our main character, Nightcrawler, to teleport over and save the princess. It's real swashbuckly. That's what he should be doing. I love it when Kurt's saving a princess. With the Soul Drinker approaching, Nightcrawler has only one option. He teleports Lilandra to safety, teleporting with another person for the first time. A feat that almost kills him. The princess explains that her brother, the Emperor Deken, had discovered the existence and location of an ancient force that he believed would give him ultimate power. She opposed and he had her arrested. When word leaks that she had tried to kill her brother and usurp the throne, the Imperial fleet of which she was the Grand Admiral split down the middle and a deadly civil war ensued. This is when Lilandra managed to escape on the tiny scout bug ship that we've seen. As she escaped, in her mind she saw a face. The face of Professor Charles Xavier, triggered by the events of X-Men 65, where he marshals the collective will of all humankind to fight off the Zednox. I've never heard that said out loud before. We don't have the time to get into all of that. And we don't read 60s X-Men here. Unfortunately, the Emperor's telepathic spies also sensed her connection to Xavier and pursued her, and this is how the X-Men came to face Eric the Red on Earth. She explains that her brother seeks to open a gate with the M'Kraan crystal, which will unleash power absolute once it aligns with 9 Death Stars in the sky. As the battle rages on, the X-Men are at the Guard's mercy when enter the Starjammers!
Yay!
Space pirates and rebels against the evil Emperor's regime. Led by their human captain, Corsair, this ragtag group of misfits includes the cat-like Hepzibah, the alien cyborg Raza, and the giant frog-like Ch'od with his furry pet, Kree. That's CR''R a million E's.
You did real well with all those pronunciations.
Thank you, I'm trying my best. The combined strength of the X-Men and the Starjammers bests the Imperial Guard, but it's too late. The Death Stars have aligned in the sky, and energy floods into the M'Kraan crystal. As power floods the crystal, energy bursts forth, causing all of reality to flicker. Back at Starcore, Peter Corbeau and Reed Richards explain that if these cosmic blinks continue, the fabric of time and space itself will tear apart, and the universe as we know it will die. Crazy issue, huh?
Crazy! And I tell you what, the huge build-up that got even more built up by the last issue, pretty good payoff, I will say.
Look, I was jonesing for something like this, and they did not disappoint.
They
so
did
much
not.
so that I dive straight into X-Men 108 because in X-Men 108, it's Armageddon now.
Wow!
The sky crackles and beams of light burst around our heroes as the Imkran crystal opens. Wolverine demands that our heroes flee, but Lilandra asks, "And where would you hide, Wolverine, from a force that's called the end of all that is?" Side note, Wolverine hates running away. Completely roasted Cyclops for this a few issues ago. And so it's not about Cyclops turning them into cowards, is it? It's just about being a little prickly pear.
He loves being a little prickly pear.
You know, Wolverine has his problems with Scott. I've got my problems with Peter Corbeau. And back in Earth's orbit, Peter Corbeau informs the President, the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers that reality may simply cease to exist and the world is helpless to stop it. Enough of that. Back in space, sitting atop the crystal is a small figure named Jarf, Guardian of the Crystal. He doesn't look much, but his fist is powerful enough to send Wolverine flying into orbit. He makes quick work of the X-Men and the Starjammers, and not even Phoenix can defeat him by dragging a meteor out of orbit and basically trying to crush him to death. It's up to Banshee, who deduces that the creature is robotic and uses a highly focused sonic scream to defeat it. However, this just leads to a second Guardian 1,000 times stronger and 1,000 times bigger than the first, emerging to battle with the X-Men. He informs them that for every Guardian they defeat, another will emerge 1,000 times as strong from the crystal. The Mad Emperor Deken states that this day he'll see a double triumph, the death of the Starjammers and the acquisition of power absolute. Raza of the Starjammers has had enough. He takes the Emperor in his bare hands and hurls him into the crystal, resulting in a blinding flare of light that teleports all present into the heart of the crystal. What were the Guardians for?
Guess that it was really easy. You just got to throw an emperor at it.
It's like, we took up a lot of time with those fights, but now we've got all this, the good stuff's happening now. We got there. A glowing sphere exists at the center of the crystal, which blasts a beam of blood-hued light into each of our heroes, causing them to enter a nightmare of their worst fears. And Deken too, I guess. He's not one of our heroes. Jean, who has already died and brought herself back to life, has no fears left, and she regains consciousness. She sees Cyclops wildly lashing out with his eye beams out of his own control, which causes him to blast the sphere itself, which begins to shatter. Jean, taking the form of a psychic phoenix, surveys the damage and considers how she can use her new powers to knit the lattice of anti-energy that contains a neuron galaxy inside back together. I do not have a degree in astrophysics. Go with it. Whatever that means, I'm enjoying the ride.
100% accurate.
I hope so. If that's not researched, so help me, Christopher. Her efforts aren't enough as she begins to fade from existence, but she finds help in the form of her friend Storm to anchor her to reality. She also calls on Corsair to help and talks him into it by revealing that she knows his true identity. Major Christopher Summers, Cyclops' father. She reveals to Corsair, Christopher Summers, as we know now, that Cyclops is his son, before she takes her phoenix form once again and surrounds the sphere. She feels the energy of all her friends, the X-Men, helping her. She succeeds, and the X-Men very suddenly emerge back through the Stargate on the roof above Jean's apartment. Real whiplash for that scene. Lilandra follows them through, and the gate collapses in on itself behind her. She explains that the Mad Emperor is now comatose, and that she will likely be the one to lead her people again. However, until the High Council absolve her of her crimes against the Empire, she is exiled to Earth with her lover, Professor Xavier. Gross.
While they do a little bit of intergalactic paperwork, Chuck, let's get busy.
Just a little romantic holiday with this bald creep that I love.
Girl, you can do better.
I know. And they just know each other through space.
It's just through space, and half of it was Charles having the worst nightmares that he's ever experienced.
But now he's so in love because of the classic "uh-oh, she's hot" reveal.
Oh, she's hot.
Let's get into the ups. You know who I did like?
Who'd you like?
The Imperial Guard.
Yay!
So cool. Such great designs. Now, I want to just throw you a bone here that this is a reference, this team.
Okay, this was what I was going to ask about.
They are direct stand-ins for DC's Legion of Superheroes, character for character.
Wow, okay.
The Legion of Superheroes, they're heroes from like 1,000 years in the future who hear about Superman's exploits as Superboy when he was young and bring Superboy to the future to do space adventures with them. So
wow.
for a long time, Superman's backstory that he did years of adventures in the future as Superboy before he came back to the present and was Superman. And DC realized how crazy that was, and it's not canon anymore, I don't think. But I'm not a big DC girly. I don't know where all that stands now. At this time, it's worth noting that Cockrum did some work on the Legion. Like he was working for DC on Legion before he came to Marvel and did X-Men. So
yeah, cool.
You know, that's probably the reason for this. And it's why he likes sci-fi stuff so much.
And he's good at it.
He is real good at it.
Look, yeah, my first up is this exact thing. The opening spread to 107. They rock up and it's like the Intergalactic Superhero Convention is in town. And I counted them. There are 18 individually costumed superheroes. It's good to know that they're all based on actual heroes because I'm like, if Cockrum is just pulling these out of his head, like get each of these guys an issue immediately. But
like they are all like his own designs, right? Like they don't look exactly like the ones from DC. Like it's a play on them, but they are all original Cockrum designs, right? They are so cool.
They're so cool. My eye gets drawn to two in particular because they are coming for our aesthetics. Because one is the spunky pink girly with bleached hair, who we find out later's name is Oracle, and just looks like she's come off the set of Gem and the Holograms. And the other is a pale goth demon queen with bat wings. She is so sick and unfortunately doesn't get as good of a treatment. She only appears once more standing behind Gladiator in a panel later on. I love them so much in a crowd of designs that I love in general.
Well, real good news for you. We are going to be seeing the Imperial Guard forever because they are regular allies and antagonists of the X-Men, and they are going to play a huge role in the Dark Phoenix saga.
Yay! Oh, I can't wait to learn more about Demon Batgirl.
I don't want to get ahead of us, but I love the Imperial Guard.
Yay!
And they are so much fun.
Oh, well, this is great news. Okay, give me another up.
My boy Slim, he's not around.
Straight into it.
The second Gladiator says that they will not give up the princess. Slim just goes, "Then we'll take her," and blasts one of the guard into the next dimension.
This is, okay, so how many X-Men have just entered? Their team is like 6 people strong. They've just come up, surrounded immediately, one of whom is a giant. And Scott's just like, we can take him, attack immediately.
You know what? Scott has this rep for being like so calculated and sensible. But the cojones on this man.
The urge to smash is too strong in him.
Yeah, I know. And there's not a lot of walls on this planet. Unless you count him blasting that orb, that's his breaking and entering, but it was unintentional.
That's his quota for the issue.
Another up. Let's do it. I got loads.
Yeah, me too. I have 2 pages of ups, the most ups I have ever had in an issue. Okay, during the battle, one of the guards has the power to shapeshift into this massive, weird alien monster called the Barakan Shovel Beast. And Kirk is not having a good time. He's very scared until he realizes he can counter it with the image inducer to make himself look like an even bigger Barack and Shovel Beast. And he has this little comment to himself where he says, "Funny, I'd been planning to throw the image inducer away." And we love to hear that our boy no longer has any shame about appearing as himself in public anymore.
Mutant pride. We love
Mutant
Kurt.
pride. Yes.
You know what I love about that scene too? That was my next up.
Yeah.
The second that the shapeshifter backs down when Kurt makes himself a bigger Shovel Beast,
Yeah.
Kurt turns off the inducer and punches him in the jaw. That's a classic X-Men move. Just a little punch in the jaw. This whole fight is so fun. I barely spoke about the fight in the filler issue at all. This one, I want to talk about so much stuff.
Yes.
Starbolt just cooks Logan's uniform straight off him. And the guard is stunned to see that he's fine. This makes him bonkers. I don't love that he just throws a woman, Oracle, me, straight into Starbolt, but he's so mad that he just turns around and basically guts Fang off panel. Then he returns to the battle wearing Fang's uniform.
In his clothes.
Marvel denied for years that Logan had ever killed anyone, but he's definitely killed Fang, hasn't he?
Fang is dead.
And I think he evades the question when he gets asked about it. But he somehow has just killed Fang and taken his clothes without ripping the uniform or getting any blood on it. That just little side mission he's on. Insane. I had a blast.
Me too. And I refuse to believe that Wolverine wouldn't just fight in the nude. Okay, we love when Cockrum draws metal demonic stuff, and we love when Cockrum draws trippy sci-fi stuff. And once again, we get both together at once with the Soul Drinker, who is just a huge, cloudy, disembodied face consisting entirely of black Kirby Crackle with huge, evil yellow eyes, and an electric green aura, and a lashing serpentine tongue. Yet another album cover to add to my collection.
Sci-fi's back, baby. Sci-fi's back in this issue. So many freaking cool designs. The Soul Eater.
The Soul Drinker, Beth.
I'm sorry.
You'll get your soul drunk for that.
I love the exposition and the space politics and the laws. I love the Starjammers.
Yes!
I love science fiction. I also love it that Claremont needs to get his lawyer on the phone because, again, this is a year before Star Wars came out, and we got not one Death Star, but we got 9. We could be making bank here. Sci-fi is back.
He's making bank off the Death Stars. He's making bank off a sudden father figure revealed out of nowhere at the end.
Just incredible.
The Starjammers are pretty cool, aren't they?
I have so much I want to say about the Starjammers. You want to start this off?
Same.
I've got probably 3 dot points that are just about the Starjammers.
Incredible. Listen, I'll just summarize by saying that I love a ragtag group of anti-authoritarian misfits getting up to adventures in space. And I don't know who came first, but I'm getting like such Guardians of the Galaxy vibes from them. We've even got one of them named Raza, as you mentioned, who you know is just a Claremont self-insert because this guy speaks in archaic Shakespearean English and he's dropping words like doth and thou like they never went out of style.
Oh, they're so good. They're cool as hell.
Cool as hell. Their intro page, amazing.
This is Star Wars. We are rebels against an unjust imperial regime.
Yeah.
All members of different races. I love Hepzibah saying that even though they're saving Lilandra, she's still impy royalty.
Yeah.
And none of them would weep if a blaster beam cut them in two. Cut her in two, I should say. Don't cut my Starjammers in two. I love them. Every member, distinct design. And this is another time I can see Claremont has probably worked out every aspect of their backstory.
Totally.
Because we have Hepzibah, who won't stop calling the princess Featherhead because of how her race has been mistreated by Lilandras. We have Raza, who is furious about Deken's attitude and desire for power. And we have Corsair with this touching little story about him being Scott's dad.
Yeah.
It is insane. It's fantastic. And it ties into the nightmare scene inside the crystal.
Yeah.
Where we see Corsair's nightmare is that Deken is responsible for the death of his wife, presumably Scott's mother. Yeah, it's all knit together. It's so cool.
And they do it so quickly. Like, we get the only introduction to these characters we had before were those sneaky 2 little panels they jammed at the end of 105. This could have been a major stuff up, right? Like, oh, here's a whole new team that we haven't met before. Get used to these characters and they have to be fighting alongside the X-Men. And they knock it out of the park. They're all interesting. All their designs are cool. I get an immediate sense of all of their personalities. It's just so good. And I really want to read, if there exists, the Starjammers individual comic book.
They've got a couple of like little mini-series and stuff and other X-Men stories. They're never like, the Starjammers is never going to be like a massive franchise, although I love them, but they are real important recurring characters. And like one third of all X-Men stories is space stuff. Can I talk about Kurt? Kurt has a couple good moments. Rescues the princess, because of course he does. He's a swashbuckling hero.
Yeah.
And he even before he does it, he says, "Never fear, my friends. I'll rescue yon damsel fair."
And he does.
He's such an altruist, and he just does things because they're right and for the joy of them. And I really love his personality for that. And you know what? He does it by doing a move he's never done before.
Oh, yes. I loved this.
Kurt is a hero, and he does what heroes do. He's like, the only solution here might kill me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Like, that's not even one of his best friends. It's just someone that he knows is in trouble.
And that's who Kurt is. Because Kurt is all about caring about other people, as we see in the nightmare scene.
This is my next up.
What is Kurt's worst fear is his friends turning on him. Because that's the most scary thing he can think of. This is heartbreaking, really, is these evil versions of the X-Men tearing him to pieces.
In that scene, the very first introduction that we had to Kurt back in Giant Size X-Men, it's that scene, but his friends are the ones hunting him down.
He's just found his people. He just wants to be loved the way other people love him. And it's terrifying to him that other people would turn on him.
Yeah.
And oh my God, why am I tearing up talking about Kurt Wagner?
Because Kurt is so beautiful.
I love that boy.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful boy.
Oh boy.
All right. Crying's allowed on the pod, especially when it has to do with Kurt.
Yes, it is.
Give me an up, girl.
Okay, we're talking about crying on the pod. I have to get into my biggest up, which is, I have to say, encompasses almost all of the last moments. So just jump in here, like, whenever you want to. Because once again, Jean Grey is stealing the emotional and visual show during her moments inside the crystal. There are so many cool moments that happen here, and I feel like we just got to break it down, like, piece by piece. She first enters the crystal and finds her body has become translucent and ephemeral. And the way Cockrum illustrates this is so cool.
If I can just jump in here for 1 second.
Yes, please.
108 is where the artist changes over. So we are now looking at a new artist in 108, which is all the stuff inside the crystal. And this is John Byrne. Now, I just want to put this as tactfully as I can, and then I'm happy to let you continue.
Okay.
John Byrne is a very talented artist. However, he is also one of the worst people in the world. So I am instituting a rule on the podcast.
Okay.
That is, whenever we compliment John Byrne, we have to also insult him. So great work on those illustrations, John. I love the crackle. I love all the other stuff. Also, stop saying bigoted on the internet, you absolute moron.
Yeah. You.
You better be bleeping the hell out of this episode.
Beth did warn me of that ahead of time. I forgot it was going to be happening here.
You mean you don't read the credits at the start of every issue?
I always just assume it's going to be Claremont and Cochrane, so I skip the inkers and the colorists. I'm sorry, you're all so important, as we know, but you also change every issue. You know what? A few issues ago, I was like, I'm going to make an effort to call out every inker and colorist from now on. And then I flipped through the issues. I'm like, whoa, they are just not consistent, aren't they? Okay. Let it just be known now that I appreciate your work.
Bless up. I couldn't tell you a single inker or colorer on these issues, but we talk about the pencils. They are wonderful. We really should give more credit to the colorists.
Yeah. Sort of speaking of, when Jean morphs into her fiery phoenix form and she enters the center of the crystal, and the way that she describes the feeling of freedom, she says, I'm beautiful, I'm Jean, yet I'm Phoenix. I feel as if for the first time in my life, I'm truly alive. You know how sometimes it's hard to describe to cis people what gender euphoria feels like? I'm just going to show them this panel from now on.
That's it!
Yeah.
I love this whole scene with Jean, becoming the Phoenix and doing what she can and knit it all together, because it's one of those times, like as I mentioned in the synopsis, it's one of those times where the plot I find very difficult to follow. I don't really understand what the lattice of neuron space is or anything. So these pictures are so crucial to my understanding of this story.
Yes.
And John Byrne, the big stupid idiot,
big stupid John Byrne,
just does a really good job of conveying what Claremont's putting down here. Like these illustrations of the Phoenix growing, engulfing the sphere,
yes.
knitting the galaxy back together, like these scenes of just like crackling as things are breaking apart.
Yeah. It's visceral.
Yeah, those images are what tells this story.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And his stupid bigoted hands made something really beautiful. The part, oh my God, the part that kills me. I've got to try and not get emotional while saying this, but when she realizes that in order to save the universe, she has to weave the galactic lattice of the crystal back together, and she's pouring all of her energy into it, only to realize that she doesn't have enough. And it's Storm who holds out her hand to offer herself as an anchor. Oh, and between this moment, the moment in issue 100 where they have their tearful understanding goodbye, and to give it credit, in the previous issue, knowing that they decorated their apartment together. It all are just these little moments that just stack up, such minimal little things, but I so thoroughly believe how much they care for each other, culminating in this moment. And Aurora offering her hand just hits me so hard. And because it could have been any of the X-Men that offered their hand to Jean, but the fact that it was Aurora says so much about the connection they share, and also the integrity of the writers, that it was this friendship between two women that was the most important relationship to highlight in this moment.
I think it's very easy to tell that like Jean and Storm are kind of Claremont's favorites.
Yeah.
And that's why they get all these big moments. And I am a real sucker for any time in a book or a movie or anything when the solution to the problem is the power of friendship.
It's friendship.
And I know it's played out, but that's so integral to the core of the X-Men, is that they care about each other, like that they are this family of misfits. So the fact that like it starts with Storm offering up her hand and her help, and then Corsair comes in with this familial relationship, and then it gets described on panel, albeit very quickly, because they're trying to do a lot in this issue in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
That the power of all her friends, all of the X-Men, is what makes her able to do it. I don't know. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
Same. They all spirit bomb her to bring it back to Dragon Ball Z for a minute.
Yeah.
They give her their energy. And same, it's always my favorite device. And it can be played out, but it's because it's good.
Got any other ups?
Look, the last up was just that reveal of Corsair, aka Major Summers, during that moment as well. I don't know why, like, because she has a little moment earlier on where she's like doing a scan of Corsair and she says, oh no, it couldn't be. And then she comments about how similar him and Scott are. In my mind, I'm like, okay, there's something there. What are they for? And because I've just watched X-Men 97, I was like, is Corsair going to be Scott's like son from the future somehow, like Cable was? not my brain.
We're not that convoluted yet.
No, but not me being like missing the obvious answer that could be. And so it genuinely took me by such a surprise.
You've been X-Men pilled.
I have. I'm used to way wackier situations.
I'm pillaging my exes a little bit here, but like the bit you're talking about where Jean first works it out is because when they meet Corsair, she hears him say, "No sweat, pal," in an American accent.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
she's shocked to hear it so far of home. So she does this mind scan and we see her thinking, no, it can't be. But Scott, no, not him. It is him. Something like that.
Yeah.
Only in this comic could Scott run into his estranged father that he hasn't seen for like 20 years just randomly in the middle of space. Coincidence is a very important character in the X-Men.
It's true.
And we see Corsair learn that Scott is his son, but Scott is unconscious when Jean tells him.
Poor
so
Scotty.
We don't know that Scott has been told yet.
Oh, poor Scott. Still recovering from his wedgie.
Oh, poor baby. Couple rapid fire ups before I get into the downs.
Cool.
Which I have less of, but I just some real fast ones. Okay. Firstly, always love when writers use an old story to help a current one. I'm not going back to read X-Men 65. Not great or memorable, but does give a plausible explanation for how the princess would make a psychic link with Chuck.
Yeah.
I like it. That's cool. As we said, Kurt considering getting rid of his image inducer. Good on you, King. You don't need to hide.
No, agreed.
I like that it's our boy Banshee who gets to defeat the first Guardian.
Yeah.
Because Phoenix's powers, like, can't even smash it with a meteor. And we get this really cute panel of Banshee being like, oh, you know me, Scott. I'm a gambling man.
It's a very cool moment. That's like, it is such a funny little fight that they have with, what's his name?
Jaff.
And you know what? It's another very Dragon Ball Z moment where Jean pulls the meteor down to slam him, and then he emerges from the dust just like completely unharmed.
Can I tell you a story?
Please.
When Fran and I first moved in together, I used to like to watch Dragon Ball Z when she wasn't home because Anime Lab was still a thing.
Hell yeah.
And I was watching, it was quite early on. I was in the bathtub, as I often am. And I had my laptop set up on a chair. I'm watching the Saiyan Saga. And
great.
There's that scene where Chiaotzu is like trying to blow up Nail. And he's like, and he's like, oh, don't worry, Tien. I'm going to be fine. And then big explosion. Chiaotzu's gone.
Dead.
And Nail's fine. And it's at this point, Fran comes home. She finds me in the bathtub with tears streaming down my face.
No.
And she's like, oh, Betty, what's wrong? And I'm like, he was only little.
Oh, he's so little.
He was only little. And it took a while before I could explain to her what the problem was. That Chiaotzu had blown himself up and it destroyed me. Let's get into the downs.
Okay. I only have one down, so you feel free to kick us off here.
Oh, no. Oopsie.
It's because
right.
I got so distracted writing all my ups. I'm like, this episode will be 3 hours long if I add anything else in here.
Shall I fly through mine and we'll see if
Please.
yours pops up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Firstly, Gladiator. Such a cop.
Such a cop. Yeah, get out of here.
Happy to follow the Emperor no matter what. He doesn't care if it's right or wrong or if the universe will be destroyed. He just follows orders. And you know who else was just following orders? Let's leave that. He even has a romantic history with Lilandra that gets hinted at, and
What?
he's disgusted at her betraying her brother. One panel.
Ew, Lilandra, get better taste in, man. What are you doing?
Second down, Eric the Red, back to not making sense. Yes, Deken informed Shikari that Lilandra was coming to Earth. He had been an agent on Earth for a long time. They have the perfect opportunity here to say that he's been observing the X-Men the whole time. That would be why he has the Eric the Red costume that Cyclops wore.
Waiting and waiting for the reveal to come about why he chose to be Eric the Red, and it did not come.
Instead, that they say that he found out about the X-Men from Lorna Dane, and we don't know how he found out about Lorna in the first place.
Oh my God, you're right. They even lampshade that is like, how he found Lorna? I don't know, he didn't say.
If he had been observing the X-Men, it'd explain the costume, it'd explain everything else. Instead, this really just seems like Eric the Red chanced on the X-Men by dumb luck, as he continues to do like last time with Firelord.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this retroactively makes even less sense then, because when he first goes to Lorna's house, she opens the door and says, "Oh, you," because we are to assume that he's dressed as Eric the Red. But if he didn't know about the X-Men or anything until talking to Lorna...
We're never going to be satisfied with this.
I hate Shikari. Everything about him makes me confused and angry.
Just a character that seems like they haven't planned out at all when everything else has been.
Yeah!
All right, down number 3. Corsair, chauvinist.
Yeah. This archetype is always going to be, hey.
Calls his girlfriend, his cat-like girlfriend, pet. You don't call someone you love by their race? That's weird as hell.
Yeah.
She even says not to call her that and reinforces how to pronounce her name. Then he rebuts that he can't pronounce that. Hepzibah. Like, you can get 90% accuracy. If Beth can pronounce it, you can pronounce it, Christopher.
Okay, so what is the official way to pronounce Hepzibah's name?
I don't know. Let's look that up.
Hepzibah.
Down number 4. Peter Corbo. They
again.
couldn't resist slipping him in there, could they?
We're in space. He has to be mentioned.
I can work out reality is getting destroyed without Corbo telling me, thank you very much. We've got a full page, and this happens twice. It happens at the end of 107 and the start of 108.
Yeah.
We got a full page of Corbo telling the president and the other heroes back on Earth what's happening. And, you know, I could have done without it. We rushed the end of this issue. We got this big emotional finale. And then a panel later, we're coming back through the Stargate. If we'd cut out this Corbo page, I still would have understood the gravity of the situation, right?
You're right.
And we would have had more time for the ending.
Yeah.
I don't care how Ant-Man and Wasp feel about the events of an X-Men issue. Like,
that's who that is. Okay. I couldn't make out who it was.
Ant-Man's going by Yellow Jacket here, but
yeah,
it's him. Hank Pym. Awful guy. Even though Dave Chappelle, also awful guy, cancelled. This reminds me of that sketch of his where it's like, has anyone asked Ja Rule what he thinks? Like, that's what this is. Let's ask Peter Corbo and Hank Pym and Janet and everybody what they think about what's going on with the X-Men. Reed Richards,
check in with the president.
Forget about it.
And it leads to nothing. I was waiting for it to sort of like be laid out as like, oh, look, here's the stakes. Here's the Avengers being informed. Here's the so-and-so. They're going to add some aid to the X-Men remotely. No.
Nah.
It's just Corbo saying, this is happening, and them saying like, I don't know, did you check your data properly? And then we move on.
All right, I've lost count of what I'm up to. Down number 5? I don't know. Another down. The battle with the Guardians of the Crystal. Seems fun. Starts off fun. Gets repetitive once the second one comes out. And then the whole thing's pointless. Because you can get inside the crystal by throwing Decan at it. Like, we could have cut this whole Guardian thing and spent more time on this big, important, dramatic moment at the end. I didn't need to see a bunch of pointless fighting and then we get in the crystal by yeeting a dude at
it. They needed a cool idea for the cover and they were like, oh, a big giant hand smashing. What's it attached to? It doesn't matter. He's only here for like 3 panels.
Down number 6, I think. The only down here about like the big Jean moment is that I don't understand the astrophysics being explained in how Jean is going to save the universe. It's clearly some research has gone into this that the 8-year-old audience reading this comic probably isn't going to get. But you know what? I'm along for the ride. I'm on for the fun art. And John Byrne, don't be transphobic.
I was waiting to look up specifically what his controversies are, and you had to pick that one.
Transphobic, racist, really creepy about writing women when he's the writer on comics.
He's a writer
Loads of
as
stuff.
well. Go away.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
he's a really good artist, though. That's the problem. We're gonna be with him for a while, but him and Claremont are gonna have a big falling out. I'll tell you about it when we get to it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, you know what? Like, it's fun to have a petty little about something sometimes, and now we've got our man.
Yeah, and look, I don't know if I'm gonna get sued by John Byrne's lawyer, but he's kind of like been on record for a long time being like, I don't care what people say about me. I call a spade a spade. I do whatever, I say whatever I
want. Okay, well then he won't mind us taking our next slander campaign off Havoc and onto John Byrne.
Oh, okay. Last down. I'll see if I've hit yours, and if I haven't, I don't know, you get a prize.
Oh, great.
It can be those 3 skirts I promised you months ago and haven't given to you yet.
Finally, I get them as a prize.
Yeah, three skirts I was going to give you anyway because they don't look good on me and they'll look great on you.
Thank you.
All right. Last 2 pages, full of whiplash as usual.
Yeah.
Jean fixes the entire universe. Very next panel, we see the Stargate on the roof opening up and the X-Men coming back through. Maybe Claremont's just getting carried away again and doesn't realize he's running out of time. But we have to see Firelord for a couple of panels, who suddenly learned to chill while they're away.
Yeah.
Then we get this whole rushed explanation about how Lilandra has to stay on Earth until the interstellar politics are cleared up. Learn what an ending is, Chris.
At least it all takes place the last panel and the background is just gay as hell, just full rainbow.
We love that. And John Byrne would hate it.
Yeah. Good.
We hate you too, John Byrne.
Hate you, baby. Mwah.
Did I get you down?
I won a prize because I honestly, I struggled to have any downs across these issues. And as I was saying to Beth off camera before we started, I was watching our last episode back and I had so many petty downs to say. I'm like, I'm going to reel it back for this one and then I'll balance myself out for the next episode.
Oh, no. Now I'm going to get in trouble with you. But at least I'm cute when I do it.
You could never. Okay. And it's just, no, it's not just. It is a nitpicky relic of language at the time. But when each of our X-Men enter the crystal and they're experiencing their own tailored nightmares, our narrator text reads, and so it goes, each intruder finding himself snared in his own personal private hell. Dude, we've got 3 women also in attendance. You could chuck in a nice gender-inclusive them and they for that sentence. Not only this is written above Jean's depiction of her nightmare.
Oh my god. Look, that's a pet peeve of mine in real life.
Yeah.
When people have to say his or her when they could just say there, and it would be less words and less letters, and
It's
we could be
easier.
And you still get it all the time on government forms and stuff. Government, you stink because I'm here for my they, them, thatties, okay?
Yes, here for the daddies. Big Daddy X will be honored.
Yeah, I was trying to do it more like a baddie thing that time. That is, I forgot that was a word we had used before.
You're going for a different one. Okay, between the daddies and the daddies, we got you.
Good down.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll enjoy my prize. Shall we get Exy?
Let's get X. I was about to say the exact same thing. Oh my god, how did you do that? How did you read my
brain.
mind?
Same brain.
All right. Exy, and I know it. Okay, let's go. I have barely slept in a week and a half. I'm insane right now. So,
Beth has an excuse. Shawnee is just like this.
quick one. In the middle of battle, Storm calls Banshee by his full legal name, Sean Cassidy, for no reason whatsoever.
We didn't get enough of it during his Spotlight episode where they said Cassidy 1,000 times. They needed to slip one more in there.
That's maybe my dumbest ex ever. Let's do a real one. Let's do it. Lilandra says, we've known of Earth for many years, my friends. Had observers there since it became a crossroads planet for half the spacefaring races in the galaxy. It's just really funny that Earth is there, nothing planet for all the other alien races, but they continue to have interactions with Earth. But Earth does have the technology to be spacefaring just as much as all these other aliens, because all the superheroes have this technology. However, they just seem to refuse to share it with the world at large, and humanity has not advanced beyond where it is in the real world at any point in comics.
Because
even
of
though
gatekeeping.
it could, yeah. All the superheroes are just gatekeeping. I just think that's really funny, and that's not specific to this issue, but that quote made me think of it.
That is so funny. Stargate keeping. That okay. During the battle, we're reminded by Banshee that since they fought Magneto, it hasn't even been a day since they ended up here. That means, to timeline this out,
What?
this means this morning they woke up, went down to the dock, argued with a cranky hovercraft owner, which exploded. They washed up onto the shore of an island facility that they immediately had to punch their way into or be splattered against the walls, fought Magneto, lost, jumped into the jet to fly home where they were immediately ambushed by Eric the Red and Firelord, fought them for an entire issue before transporting themselves onto an alien planet where they were thrown straight into another fight with 18 superpowered guards. They must be so tired.
Think about it with the time zones too. Like, firstly, going from Scotland to USA and then into freaking space.
They're jet
They probably
lagged on
feel
top of
how
it.
I feel right now.
That's it. Them doing all of this and fighting all these battles in the space of a day. That is what Beth is doing by recording a podcast episode on the day she gets back from Tasmania.
They just feel like they've spent 3 days at the folk punk festival. And you know what? It rocked.
Yeah, they might have fought 10 different battles, but they didn't play 2 sets.
Wolverine squares up to Jaff, the first Guardian. Gets knocked into the next galaxy, basically.
In a very
However-
Team Rocket is blasting off again moment.
He flies past the Starjammer, which is the name of the ship. The Starjammers, they go on the Starjammer, the ship.
Cool.
We get a little comment that he is 160 centimeters tall, 10 centimeters shorter than Beth,
Yeah.
and 70 kilograms in weight. Adamantium skeleton. Not canon yet, but 70 kilograms. Jesus Christ, Logan, my boy, you gotta eat something.
Oh my God, Logan completely doxed by the Starjammers scan. I
Like,
recently...
height and weight. We can calculate his BMI.
I recently went to the doctor and got my height and weight and stuff done. And I was 67 kilos. That means me holding, I don't know, like a kitten weighs the same amount as Wolverine.
Okay. I got one more X.
Okay, I got lots. So let me know.
All right, I'll do mine. Then you can do a rapid fire round like I did.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, Dave Cockrum is leaving the book. We have our new artist, the idiot.
Yep.
Stop writing women so creepily, John. So at the very bottom of the page, we get a little caption that says, "This book dedicated with respect and admiration to Dave Cockrum, who helped make the dream a reality." Then a little note from Dave underneath in small text that says, "I'm not dead, Dave." That's like, I feel like the sequence of events here that I'm imagining is that Claremont has written that because that's just the way he talks.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't even realize it sounded like an obituary. And then Cockrum's been like, maybe I should say that I haven't died.
But does this mean Dave Cockrum's just out? He's not drawing for X-Men anymore?
Well, good news. John Byrne and Chris Claremont have their inevitable falling out because John Byrne's a big stupid idiot. Guess who's coming back?
Yay! The team's back together.
We haven't seen the last of him. Don't you worry, girl.
Okay, good. Well, this is the reason I wasn't really paying attention to the credits as well, because I'm used to, this was my first team. This is my first little writer and artist team, and I loved it so much, and I had so many beautiful moments with them together. Oh, I'm glad they got their little visual insert a few issues ago if he was going to be leaving. All right, well, now that I've talked up Claremont, let me dunk on Claremont for a little bit because...
Oh, no!
No, it's not even a dunk. We get another sassy little Claremont narrator moment when Cyclops is fighting one of the guards and Scott says, "The team's getting pulverized. They need my..." And then he's suddenly interrupted because him and the guard both fire off face beams at the same time and they knock each other out. And then written in the narrator dialogue below their unconscious bodies, we have the words, "He was going to say help." Thank you, Chris. I never ever would have figured out that was what he was going to say for myself.
I like that you're like, I'm not going to go petty in my downs.
I'll
But then my girl,
instead.
she's getting super specific in the X's.
And this is why it's in my X, because I love it. It's stupid and I love it. And you know who else is stupid and I don't love? Corbo. But what I like is that he calls the president in this issue, and the president gets a classic phonetic accent treatment. And Beth, I'm sorry, I know we sort of have a loose no accent policy rule in the pod, but I have to attempt this because I need to ask you what accent is meant to be conveyed here, because it's either like a Bostonian, like JFK / Mayor Quimby kind of vibe. I'm going to try and read this as it's written. "I find that a little hard to believe, Dr. Corbo. My science advisors dispute the accuracy of your data." But it could just as easily be Southern, like, "I find that a little hard to believe, Dr. Corbo. My science advisors dispute the accuracy of your data." So which one do you think it is?
My question is, who was president in 1976? Is it Carter? Everything I know about American presidents before my lifetime seems to have been informed by The Simpsons. If only we had computers in front of us to look up who was president in 1976.
Okay, I'm doing it right now.
And where they were from.
Oh no, it was Gerald Ford.
Oh no.
He's the one who... Well, it can't be him because he's the one who's like, "Do you like nachos?"
Find out where he's from.
All of our reference is just The Simpsons. Hang on.
He's clearly got some kind of accent. This is, Shawnee, this is going to be in the outtakes.
It has
We
to
can't
be.
leave this in.
What is happening? He's from Nebraska. It could be him.
All I know about Nebraska is two things. Number one is the Bruce Springsteen album Nebraska. Number two is there's a rapper from Nebraska called Big Bear who is famous for an album called Doin' Things, and the cover of Doin' Things by Big Bear is the greatest rap album cover of all time. I'm pretty sure he's from Nebraska. Let's look that up. And at one point, I changed my name on Facebook to Big Bear Doin' Things. First name Big Bear, last name Doin'-Thanks, and made that my profile picture. And I got locked from changing it for months until somebody reported it as a fake name. And of course it was a fake name. It was Big Bear Doing Things.
It's Big Bear Doing Things. Okay, I have to see this album cover. Look at all the bears.
And it's like the honey at the table, and the name's got a honey dripping from it.
Oh, Big Bear. He's with big bears, and they're doing things. They've got...
And it got to the point where people I knew in real life were coming up to me being like, oh, hey, Big Bear.
Hey, Big Bear. You're still doing things.
People called me Big Bear for years because of this joke.
Oh, I'm so glad it's come up again here. Okay.
Shawnee, we got to get through the X's.
I did it.
I got to go to bed. I've been off work for 2 weeks.
I've been off my exes for the past 5 minutes because we got distracted. I'm done. I'm just ready to talk about ex-presidents and Big Bear.
Are there no more X's?
That's it. I realized they were all covered during other points that we talked about, so I'm tapped. So guess what? This is all in the real episode.
I don't know what happened, but that's a wrap on X-Men issues 106 to 108. We don't know who the president is.
How did it get here?
Thank God. We are going to read 2 issues for next time. We will be reading issues 109 and 110. Thank you for watching Flat Scans. We are the X-Men, the next stage in human evolution. 2 trans women exploring the X-Men. What happened? I gotta sleep. Mwah.
Best ending ever.